Hey guys, welcome to another ride in the Strugglebus where every wheel is an empty triangle. Thank you for joining us on the second bus ride. So today we are playing against an 11K on OGS, and I'm still trying to figure out the best way to approach these games, and I think we're going to have to shift the ranks that I play against a little stronger. Originally I wanted to play games kind of in the context of what you guys are seeing in your own game. But I'm finding it a little difficult when there are obvious big mistakes and not knowing how to handle that. I'm not looking to punish the players that we're playing here. I thank them for playing these games with us. And so I want to make it a fair experience, but that's going to be a little tougher with newer players. So I think I'm going to start shifting it a little stronger, and we'll eventually find balance. I still think this game came out well enough for what these videos are intended for, but it was a little trickier. But either way, I hope you guys enjoy it, so let's jump on into it. Okay, so we are starting up, and we are against an 11K today. Again, we will keep it simple during Fuseki. And I will do a 4-4 with a 3-4 facing. And he's approaching. I'm going to answer, and I'm just going to answer with the kick and then jump back, because that's probably the simplest variation that you guys know. So typically when you kick, they should extend. Since he didn't extend, we're going to take the point that he should have played. A very simple thing that you can do in your own games. If your opponent doesn't play a move that you think they should have played, you can consider looking at that move as an option for you. It's not always going to be the right thing to do, but in this case, I do like it. And so this is fine, honestly, for both players. This looks okay. I'm just going to take an extension now off of our stones here. And again, we're going to be focusing on the Strugglebus basics. So we're going to be trying to balance our third and fourth line stones, like you'll see here. We're going after the corners first, before the sides, and then the center afterwards. He encloses his corner, and we'll go approach the final corner. And he does the attach variation. So here, you might not see this a lot in your games, but either way, we're going to play this Hane, and then we'll see where he plays after that. Typically, you come back and play R5 here. So he came back. And so this is not a great exchange right now. So what we're going to do is we are going to take this Atari, which is what playing R5 protected against. Well, playing R5 ourselves also would have been okay in this situation, but I think this is a more straightforward response to this. Also something you're probably going to be more inclined to do because you see the Atari there. And we're just going to play R4 now. He'll probably take the Atari, we'll connect. Again, we don't want to overly punish any mistakes that our opponents do here. We want to keep things somewhat simple, but I think you'll be able to see that we're going to get a better result here than Black's going to get. But he does get a nice extension. We're going to take this Atari now. But again, not a terrible result for Black. I think he probably should have protected this, but we will oblige and answer this move. And we will do the Hane variation. Just keep it simple, and we'll push. He's going to push one more time, and we push one more time. And he should Tanuki here. This exchange, this happened in our last game as well. This exchange we shouldn't be doing. It fixes White's weaknesses too much. And so Black gets a larger corner here, but White gets much more strength. So now when he does a peep like this, this shape over here is strong by itself, and these four stones are strong by itself. So in this situation, we could play a move like this and challenge this stone. And in this case, I'm not sure which way I want to go, right? Do I want to keep things simple and connect? Or do we want to go a little more complicated, right? The whole point of this exchange right here is to protect against this very thing. But we're going to behave, and we're just going to connect. Let's see. So he is playing over here now. I think now we can look at, we're just going to take this stone. It turns this cut on, and so if nothing else, he should block here. Black can absolutely not let us push through here. Unfortunately, he is thinking, so he may not be blocking here. And we are absolutely going to push through here. Even if he ends up getting this stone, this is bigger over here. And now he's going to let us cut in both directions. So here, I threatened the cut, and he decided to let us cut there, and he was going to get his reward by getting this stone, but then didn't follow through. So unfortunately, he's now just left with this group floating in the middle, and then this group that doesn't quite have a base yet. And so we can continue pushing through, and now we'll probably gobble up this stone. And so now he is fully split. And I think we'll just play this diagonal. I think that's enough of a reward here, getting this side. He does have good strength with this, but the influence is going to be tough to use. So here, this is a little much. We're going to take the Atari, and then we're going to connect. And if he cuts here, then we can connect, and which is what we will do. We can actually, we'll just connect, and he's not going to have enough liberties to outdo this. I think we'll. So instead of pushing through, I think we're just going to take this Hane. And we can come out now. So he's looking to surround this, and that is fine. We will just jump out. Maybe this was a little bit of an overplay, but this is something similar to what you'll see in your games as well. And so we're just going to connect, and we'll see what he can turn this into. This move is much too close to this wall. This move should be probably on the K column somewhere. Typically, when you've got strength like this, you can play much farther away from it. And so this move we are not concerned with at all. And so we can even come out. What do we want to do? We should probably strengthen what is our weakest group on the board. And so let's just take this knight's move. I'm not too concerned about the cut here, which apparently he's going to take. And that is fine. We'll Atari this, and then we'll make shape. And now our weakness has transitions to these two stones, and so we're now going to focus our strength on these two. We have to locate our weakest group and make that stronger, as well as locating our opponent's weakest group and making it weaker. So in this case, these stones are the weakest, and so we're going to go after them while trying to maintain the strength with our 3 stones here. And so he's going to peep. We are going to connect. And unfortunately now he's left these stones behind. And we can just play this to attempt to surround. He played that move real quick. That was already Black's corner, and even if it wasn't, it's okay. Nothing's going to die here. But this is much too slow of a move in this situation. So here, I think it's about time that we start going after this stone. And so we're going to play here. And this fight will go towards his strength, which we typically don't want to do, but this is also where some of his potential is on this board. And running fights into the direction of your opponent's potential is a good way of destroying that potential, because everything's going to turn into dame as the fight bleeds across the board. Okay, so he plays this. This is kind of a bizarre move. I'm not sure the intent of it. So let's see. We can just play on top, but then he will eventually be able to Hane. We can split this shape, but let's actually just keep things simple for now, and we will look at pressing into this area while also surrounding his 3 stones that don't yet have a base. They're probably fine. And so we're just going to keep on pushing through here, right? We had kept him split, and so we're going to continue doing that. And So now we can look at where the big areas on the board are. Left's pretty big, top left is pretty big. So let's actually go ahead and play this move here. This is an area that we were both interested in. We will connect here, and we will. Ooh, did I misread this? I think we are fine with this. We will have enough liberties here with this. But he should definitely squeeze our liberties, I think, by playing N15. So here, I'm not sure we're too concerned with this. If he plays here, we're able to still keep him cut. If he plays there, we can still play here. But you want to know what? We'll give him this one. We'll just attach here. And he plays another slow move. So we're almost already in endgame, which tends to happen in situations like this. We have the center, but there's really not too much to be gained there. So I'm going to play B16. It's a very large move. It is an endgame move, but it's quite large. And then we're going to follow that up with M18. And then we can come back with L17. And this move is not Sente, or well, this move isn't Sente. So we're going to play the other big endgame moves. And we'll push in. We do have to be careful with these groups now that we potentially have a shortage of liberties. But this should give our group enough. But now the squeezing on this side, we're definitely going to have to go kill these stones here, else we're going to lose the liberty race. Unfortunately, that also is not Sente, so we're going to go take this move as well. Just doing more endgame, because we have 2 liberties here, and he only has 1. So we will win this race. He has no way of extending liberties. This is a very important thing. A lot of new players would have taken this right now, but we have 2 liberties here. And we're going to play this to further erode his base and reduce his eye space, and then we're going to take the turn at N5. And just for reduction, we are going to play this move. Just looking to reduce the side, nothing crazy. I expect him to attach at C12. This is another possibility, and we can just extend. This is actually a good answer. It gives him more strength if he cares to attack that stone. We can also sacrifice this stone by claiming more points here. This is fine. These exchanges are not very good for black because we're getting 5th line territory here. And so we are going to attempt to connect back up. And then we'll be looking at enclosing this and making sure that everything is fine here. But we're going to connect here. He now has to be concerned about B12. And I'm not going to play it here, because again, the intent is not to overly punish our opponents here. But I do believe that playing B12 likely kills this group of 5 stones. So instead, we're just going to play this knight's move, try to grow this group, even though there really aren't too many points to be had here. And we will absolutely connect. He has to be careful here. So let's test him a little bit. We're going to play this Hane, and I'm curious to see how he responds to this. That is not a good response. So this is another Sumego. you guys can pause this video if you want white to kill this group. And I'm not going to do it, but it is a little Sumego problem. And we're just going to leave it there for now. So the game got to here, and he resigned. And I'm aware that this group is dead, but let's take a quick look at the review for this game and take a look at some of the important points. So things start off reasonable enough, and this is the first weird response. And so I wouldn't suggest that you guys play this loose. Typically we would just expect black to extend, white to extend, and then for black to jump either on the fourth line or third line. This allows white to turn on top of this stone. But though honestly, this isn't a terrible result for black. This is a good extension off of these two stones. So this seems reasonable. This leaves the peep behind here, and I would probably be willing to just play underneath here, and that would be fine. Black extends off of one corner, and I approach the other. And typically here, the variation I'm used to seeing is black playing here. I would Atari, and then I would probably connect here. And black can look at cutting, but it doesn't really get him too much. And so black would typically, after this connection, black would typically look at playing something on the left-hand side just to secure his corner, leave that cut for later. This response is a little strange. If black wanted to slide back, then he should just do this immediately and allow for whatever variation, either white playing the slide or the attach. So if black was looking for this move, he shouldn't exchange this first. He should just play that. So this gives us the Atari, and we could have pushed through, which would have complicated things. I didn't want to do that, so I just wanted to go fully take the side. And so that is what we did. And so again, not a terrible result for black. And we played this. I thought he was going to save his stone. He did not. This was I think a pretty slick play in retrospect. And so we do this variation. And again, black probably doesn't want to make this exchange because right now white does have this peep here. Black has this peep, which can become an issue. But when black makes this exchange, it's no longer the case because again, we could have considered playing something like this. And he can't cut because then his stones die, and if he tries to get out, he's facing a lot of strength here. And so you can see how strong this C6 stone is. And if we look at this where we've not made this exchange and just left it like this, you can see that this is a little more tenuous, right? This doesn't look too bad for black. Black might be able to handle this if, he can just play something like this Hane. But unfortunately, black made this exchange, and so these stones are here. So white can answer this much more aggressively than otherwise, which is one of the reasons why we typically don't want to make this exchange. And so we continue on, and here, so when I take this, black really wants to block here. This is a really important move. You need to keep these connected. Yes, this cut is here, but black should be able to handle this fine. When black does this and then we cut, he then really needs to do something here. I don't know if this is going to work. It probably isn't. But black could consider at least doing this and following up on his threat. I'm not sure I would save this stone at this point in time. But playing both just allows us to completely cut in. So things are unfortunately, things are going to ravel out of control here for the rest of the game. It is kind of dictated by what's going on here. So one interesting thing, I want to get to the end, or close to the end, because we skipped over it, because the game was already over. But we had this interesting life and death problem. And so we played here, and black smelled some blood in the water and did not want to play this, perhaps because he knew that this was going to be a problem. Although in this situation, he at least has Ko, and it isn't even a Ko, actually. So here, black could have escaped. but instead he played here. So after this, we would normally have the bent 4 in the corner, where we play here, and he connects, and we play here, and he plays this, and here's our bent 4 in the corner, and black is dead. But he's only dead locally. If he can find a way to get out, such as this, then he's actually just alive. So in this case, I believe the best we can do is when black plays here, is to connect and start the ko. But this is still really bad for black, and I'm not sure he's going to win this ko. But we left that to see if black was going to figure it out, but he resigned before we got to the end. So that is it for this game. Again, unfortunately, it unraveled pretty quick at the beginning. It's possible I will, in future videos, lower the range of opponents that I can play so that we can focus more on the lower single-digit Q players. But we'll test out and see what works, what doesn't, and I will adjust as I see fit for what I think the video should be. Either way, thank you for coming out on another bus ride with us today, and I will see you guys next time. To end this video, I would like to thank and show appreciations to every single one of my Patreon subscribers. I greatly appreciate it. Anyway, if you enjoy what you see and want to potentially give back to the channel while also getting some rewards, go check out the Patreon linked below. I've set the rewards to be pretty cheap, so hopefully they are affordable to people. And if not, watching the videos is enough for me. Anyway, have a good one, guys.